It's not that negative thoughts come to you less. It's not that you become a less negative person. You just get far better at not entertaining. You get much better at closing the door quicker rather than lingering and letting it fester and turn into something nasty. What's up, guys? I hope you're well. I want to talk to you today about negative thoughts, which is something that we all experience. It's a very normal part of life, and really it's more about how we handle them and how we deal with them. And that's what I kind of want to just give you a few ideas on for today's video. This idea that I'm going to give you is nothing new. So I don't claim to be the creator of this or the architect of it. It's simply something that I heard once upon a time. And when I remember to apply it and remember to use it in my life, I find it highly beneficial. And whilst we're on the point, all these videos I make, I don't claim to own any of these ideas or principles. So if you ever think, well, I heard things say this in a video or that, I've read that in a book. Yeah, I should think so. I'm not claiming to bring you anything original. All I'm doing is taking ideas that have served me and I'm presenting them to you so that if there's a chance you haven't heard things like this, that hopefully you can benefit from it the same way I did when I discovered it. Anyway, I digress. This is where I want to get to on negative thoughts, because here's the reality of it is that you're going to feel them and you're going to experience them. They come into my mind on a daily basis, and I consider myself generally a very positive person, and I try to focus on things that I can control, and I try to focus on having a positive mindset. I understand that dwelling on the negatives doesn't help anything. But I think it's really important to have a structure and a way of looking at it. So the way I want you to think of the thoughts that come into your mind is like people visiting your house, coming to your door. We get all kinds of people throughout the day who will come and knock on our door. And depending on who it is, you're going to treat them slightly differently. So take, for example, a friend or a family member comes round, and we can think of this like a positive thought, a happy thought, a thought that brings us joy. We would invite that in, wouldn't we? We would entertain that. We would sit it down, we would feed it, we would give it drinks, we'd watch films together. We would enjoy our time with that. We'd want to nurture that relationship. We'd want to nurture that thought. We want to keep it around. A negative thought, you can think of it like a door-to-door salesman, okay? They're uninvited. You didn't want them to come in the first place. You certainly don't need them for what they've come round for. So what do? We close the door. We don't invite them in. We don't offer them food or drink or to sit on our sofa. We ask them politely to leave. And we close the door and we walk away, and that's the end of it. We don't spend any more time in the day thinking about that salesman. Once the door is shut and they've walked away and you've walked away, that's it. You go back to your guests. You can go back to spending time with the people you care about or the thoughts that mean something to you. But it has to be a conscious decision. I've seen it all the time of people who the door-to-door salesman comes and they feel compelled to talk to them. And they let them do their little pitch, and it goes on, and they spend 10, 15, 20 minutes at the door knowing that they have no real intention of entertaining it, but yet they entertain it. They feel compelled. The same way they've not made time to have the family round, to have their friends round. There's always a reason why there's not enough time, there's not the day, it's not the right evening to do it. They don't allow what they should be allowing in, and they spend way too much time entertaining that which they should not. Okay? So, getting away from this weird example of the house, your thoughts are going to come from all directions, and often you're not going to see them coming. You're going to be like, where has that thought come from? I think about, and this thought comes to me a lot, my death. Now, as far as I know, I'm healthy. I'm in the prime of my life. I'm not particularly old. I'm not at risk of anything. There's no reason, really, for me to be so fixated on the idea of my death. But this thought comes to me. Day to day, I think about how I'm going to die, what's going to happen to the people I leave behind, and I can get myself quite upset. I can get quite emotional over this completely non-existent thing that hasn't happened, and although it's going to happen at some point, I have no control of. It's pointless. And I have to catch myself. I have to catch myself when that thought happens and close the door on it and not entertain it. And again, it's not just close the door, because it's not that simple. It's important that I turn around and entertain the thoughts that I want to. So when that thought of death comes to me and invades my mind, I consciously acknowledge it, that it's there. We're not ignoring it. We're not pushing it down. I acknowledge its presence, but I change my thought process. And instead I start thinking about all the things I want to do because I'm alive. All the people that I want to make sure I spend as much time with, all the activities that I want to make sure that I fit in, all the experiences that I want to have. And I fill myself with positivity. I fill myself with a sense of happiness and gratitude for what I have, and hopefulness for the things that I want to do and achieve later on in my life. I block out that negative. And the more you do this, the more often you get into this habit. It's not that negative thoughts come to you less. It's not that you become a less negative person. You just get far better at not entertaining. You get much better at closing the door quicker rather than lingering and letting it fester and turn into something nasty. You spend more time consciously. It requires some effort thinking about things that make you happy and that bring you joy. And as always, take care of yourself.